Hey losers, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with my TBR for May, and guess what, losers? I'm doing another motherfucking readathon. Not my own, but I'm participating in another motherfucking readathon. Not co-hosting this time, only participating. So this is the Escape the Readathon? Oh my god. How embarrassing. Cut this all out. What is it called? Yeah, Escape the Readathon, I was right. And this is, I'll leave a link to all the information. Honestly, I don't really know how this works. It's a little bit confusing, I have to say. I heard about this because Kelsey at Slime and Slashers is one of the co-hosts. Also, Kitty, Spicy Cats Reads, follow them both. I'll link their channels below. They're co-hosting, they're the leaders of one of the teams, and that's how I heard about this. And I was like, this idea is very interesting, particularly because of the fact, to me at least, that you really don't know where your standing is in the readathon. It's kind of competitive. You don't know where your standing is in the readathon. And I am interested in this. So for now I have a tentative TBR, but that might change because there are like 10 buildings representative of 10 prompts, and you pick a prompt, a building, a prompt to start out with, and then it's like once you unlock that building, you get 2 different prompts, and you read toward those prompts, and one of them is a false prompt. And like you read your way through this, you read your way through this readathon to try to escape this carnival, and you don't really know what's going on. And I have no fucking idea what's going on. So it's like I might not even read all these books. I might not even be reading all these books. I might be reading other books. I might be reading more than one book to like, if we're on a prompt, I'm going to be reading books for that prompt, like multiple books probably, as far as I can tell for this. So some of my information could be totally wrong also. Like, this is what I've picked up from the announcement video, and also, like, okay, I have to say, like, the announcement video, after watching it, it was like, I still don't know what's happening. So, like, the other bits of information I've picked up from other, people asking questions, and like reading through other people asking questions and things like that. So this is what I've picked up since then. And so I don't really know, but it seems like it's gonna be fun. And my finals are this week for this semester, and then I'm not taking any classes this summer, so I'm really excited to just like fucking dive in and do something weird with my reading and hopefully have a really good time. And I'm gonna tell you what these prompts are and what books I'm picking for them, and like maybe I'll read these and maybe I won't. Guess you'll have to find out later. So first, if you voted on my Instagram poll, the first one here, the prompt is Funhouse, and it's to choose a book through a poll. So on my Instagram, I did 3 poll options. I picked an emoji to represent each book. This was the ghost emoji for Haunting. You sickos. This is what you voted for, you sickos. There was also a blood emoji for Teenage, what is that called? That book? Oh my god. Teenage something Bloodbath by, oh god, John Carl Lee? I feel like I'm getting that all wrong. Oh my god. Anyway, and then also, what was the third one? Burn You the Fuck Alive. So they each had an emoji. That's what you voted for. And you picked this. You picked this. There is also a prompt for friend recommends. So like if we get through the poll pick prompt and I'm in the middle of this book, I know that this could also go towards friend recommendation because my friend read this book and what she said was, quote, oh yeah, that one's nasty. So, I might be reading a Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I know that this is a dark romance. That's all I know. I have Inferno, a memoir of motherhood and madness by Catherine Cho. This is for the prompt hard hitter, a 5-star prediction, and this is a nonfiction memoir about a woman who suffered through postpartum psychosis, which is, oh, just, I can't imagine. Horrifying and terrible. And I'm really interested in what this author went through, what she has to say about it. It says also her parents were Korean immigrants, so I'm interested in what her cultural background, you know, how that comes into play as well, because I imagine it has to, right? So yeah, I'm really, really interested in this book. This is one of my 5-star predictions from at the beginning of the year, so I'm really excited about getting into this. Then for the prompt heads up, it's to read an author you've read before, and this, luckily, I was able to fit in my buzzword reading challenge pick for this, which is to read a book that has everything in the title. And guess what? I have like 0 fucking books somehow out of all the books I've owned, read or unread. I have like 2 that have the word everything in them. And this is one of them. So I decided I'm going to reread Everything's Eventual by Stephen King, an author I've read from before. This is one of his short story collections. I really like this one. This is one that I've read a few times. I actually really remember the first time I read it, I was maybe like 11 or 12. I picked this one up, and like the first story in this is kind of weird, especially the ending. If you've read it before, how he talks about the medical gloves. Just like reading that as like a 11, 12-year-old, I'm like, ugh, that's weird. Uncle Steve, why'd you say that? It's fucking weird. So I'm looking forward to reading that again. I remember, oh yeah, I remember the cover being so interesting too. How, you know, the front is this seemingly perfect little setup here, this little dinner setup, except for of course the drop of blood, but then in the back it's like, oh, what happened here? And then it says, oh God, please help us. Then the next prompt is called No Strings Attached, read a book a friend recommends. And for this, I chose a book Jennifer at Literary Love 123 has talked about a few times. I will leave a link. Make sure to check out her channel. Oh, she has such great insight. She is really a very thoughtful reader, which I love watching her videos because of that. So this is Reluctant Immortals by Gwendolyn Kiste. This is a novel that is really interesting because it takes two classic women from classic novels who were kind of overlooked. It takes Lucy Westenra from Dracula and Bertha Mason, which was Mr. Rochester's wife in Jane Eyre, and puts them in this novel as immortal women in the 1960s, almost 70s in Los Angeles. They are trying to get away from their fucking weirdo dudes, I guess. You know, I don't know what relation they have to them at this point. So it's like historical, gothic, it says with modern perspective, in a tale of love and betrayal and coercion. So it seems like it'll be really interesting. It seems like it'll have a lot for a reader to think on. And I'm excited to read this, especially after reading A Haunting in Belkwood, which I really enjoyed. The next prompt is Horsing Around. Read a book that is intimidating in one way or another. And I've chosen for this Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff because of its length. This is a big book. This has got to be, it's hard to tell because this has got those really flimsy, thin pages. It's got to be like 700 pages. Oh, I'm so good at this. 713 pages. 713 pages, especially for a readathon. So we'll see how that goes. yeah. I mean, this could fit other prompts or an author I've read from before. I don't know, maybe other things, who knows. But this is the sequel to Empire of the Vampire, a book I really enjoyed, kind of a darker fantasy with vampires and in France and with religion in a way that I really enjoy. All in all, like bloody battle scenes and things like that. Blood and fighting and vampires. And I liked it a lot, so I'm really excited to read the sequel finally. Then there is a prompt called Food Court, which is to read a popcorn read, meaning something that is just fun. And I'm thinking I will finally try to pick my way through Saga again. I can't remember if I think that must have been later last year that I was intending to raid through Saga so I can pick up volume 10, which I haven't done still, and I don't know what happened. So I'm thinking I will reread some of those as my popcorn reads, because they sometimes they're a little bit sad, but they're just so vibrant and enjoyable, you know what I mean? And funny and weird. And I think it's a perfect popcorn read. The next prompt is called Good Fortune. Read your most read or favorite genre. For me, of course, that is horror. And I picked Lute by Jennifer Thorne for this. I'm so excited to read more of her stuff. I think this is her only other novel, her debut. And I've had it sitting around and I'm like, why? Oh my god, I've had this just squandering on my moldering. I've squandered my opportunities to read this, except until now, because I'm gonna pick it up. But this is a folk horror novel about, of course, an outsider coming into the community where everything is super great because they have this ritual like every 7 years where they have a tithe that they pay. And now this outsider has come in and she's like, this is really fucking weird, and what will happen? I don't know, I'll have to read it, but I do love this like all purple cover. I'm very excited to read more of Jennifer's writing. I loved her newest book, Diavola, so fucking much. So much. One of my favorite books of the year. And then I think this is going to be one of the harder ones to do. This is for the prompt, Cutthroat Circus, a cover that matches a team leader's thumbnails on YouTube. I think this first one was easy because I just chose Kelsey, Slime and Slashers, and her thumbnails are colorful and spooky. So for that, I chose a Christopher Pike novel. This one is Road to Nowhere. But I'm wondering, like, if I have to read multiple, it's just gonna take a lot of finessing, I feel like, if I have to do this multiple times. So this is about a teenager who is running away from home. She picks up 2 hitchhikers on her way, which is, like, fucking stupid, Teresa, you idiot. But it says, oh, they start telling each other stories, and then it says, yet as they talk. Yet, as they talk, a darker story unfolds around them. A story of life and death, of redemption and damnation. It will be the longest night of Teresa's life. Maybe the last night of her life. So, we'll have to see if Teresa survives. It is a really great cover, though, with Teresa driving, the fuzzy dice on her rear view mirror, and of course the skeleton in the passenger seat, and it looks like it's raining. So of course the neon lettering, it's all coming together, you know what I mean? Okay, 2 more prompts here. This is the prompt Bullseye Battle, a new to you author. I chose Forgotten Sisters by Cynthia Pelayo. I heard that this book by this author is getting review bombed, which, if you're not familiar with that term, it is when people, or one or multiple people, a lot of the times it is like just one or a very few amount of people make these fake accounts on review sites like Goodreads and they target somebody and give them really bad reviews for no reason, because they are jealous assholes most of the time, because they are not adults, because they're giant fucking babies, because they don't know how to handle their emotions, things like that. And I heard that this was happening to Cynthia and her new book, and it's like, I simply don't fucking understand why people do that. You know, especially when it's like there is, as far as I know, no content in here that people would have issue with. It is simply that somebody has a problem, a personal problem, a jealousy problem. That's been happening a lot lately in the book community, where people are upset with their own career, and so they're targeting other authors. And so I don't know if that's why this is happening, but I heard that this is happening to Cynthia, and so I was like, wow, I have this book. I want to give it a review. So this is about two sisters in Chicago. The synopsis on this is very vague. So all I know is that there might be some ghostly things happening. I think one of the sisters can talk to ghosts, maybe? I don't know. But I'm excited to read it and give it a review. And I would encourage you, if you have this sitting around and you've got the time, in the next couple weeks, why not pick it up and see how you like it. And then for the last prompt, it is Unfair Wheel, top of your TBR. And I thought this would be the perfect time to roll my dice for my TBR cart, since I didn't do that last month for Old School April. And just see what happens. And then maybe I'll also pick a TBR jar star, and then just see if my book possibly will fit into any prompt during the readathon. We'll see. Okay, so first roll determines the page. Oh no, my page ripped off. That's the second page. Show me what you got. 18. The Return, I read that. 14. The Exorcist's house. Okay. Where are you, little book? Okay, so, so pet hair on it. So, let me read you the synopsis. In the summer of 1994, psychologist Daniel Hill buys a rustic farmhouse nestled in the rolling hills of West Virginia. Along with his wife and teenage daughter, the family uproots their lives in Ohio and moves south. They are initially seduced by the natural beauty of the country setting. That soon changes when they discover a hidden room in the basement with a well, boarded shut, adorned with crucifixes. Local legends about the previous owner being an exorcist comes to light, but by then, all hell is broken loose. So, you know, Amityville, horror-y, a little bit. But this really has been on my TBR for so long, and there's no reason I haven't picked it up, but it just hasn't been time yet, but now it will be time. It's time. And I think that this might be, never mind. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Well, shall I pull from my TBR jar? I kind of missed doing it. I didn't do it last month, and now it feels like I've missed so long. Let's do it. Let's just see what happens, you know? Okay, Blue Star. That's a fantasy book. Okay, this is the second book in a series. This is A Torch Against the Night, so let me grab the first book. Okay, so this is the first book in this is a series. This is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is a YA series. I've had this for so long. I don't think that they publish these books with these cover designs anymore. Isn't that funny? So this says, under the martial empire, defiance is met with death. Those who do not vow their blood and bodies to the emperor risk the execution of their loved ones and the destruction of all they hold dear. It is in this brutal world inspired by ancient Rome that Leia lives with her grandparents and older brother. The family acts out an existence in the Empire's impoverished back streets. They do not challenge the Empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, Leia, I don't know what it is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the Empire's greatest military academy. Okay. There, I want to say Leia. Leia meets Elias. Maybe it is Leia. Leia meets Elias because Leia and Elias sound too much alike. Leia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and is secretly, secretly its most unwilling. He's fine and unwilling. Elias wants only to be free of the tyranny he's being trained to enforce. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. Okay, so I know this was very popular. This is like a YA. I don't know if there's fantasy involved. I don't know, but I know it was very popular. I don't know if it still is. I don't know if there's still books coming out. I don't know if the series is done, but there's that. So if I can work that in, I'll try to. And if I can't, maybe I'll read it in June. It could be a new to me author pick. It's not really top of my TBR. Maybe I could look through, maybe I could pick, maybe I could match it to a, maybe honestly it could be an intimidating read because one, it is a genre I don't really enjoy a ton anymore. Maybe also because it's the start to a series, which I don't do very much anymore. So I don't know, you know, I could try to make it work depending on where our game goes, which is what I think is exciting about this readathon is like, you don't really know where it's gonna go and you're just kind of there for it. So that again is Escape the Readathon. I will leave links to the announcement. I will leave links to Kitty and Kelsey's channels so you can watch their announcements, and I will leave a link to Jennifer's channel. She is who I got the recommendation for Reluctant Immortals from. Make sure to check out her channel, and I think that's it. So as always, I'd love to know if you have any opinions about these, if you loved any of them, if you read them and didn't like them so much. Thanks always for watching. Make sure to check out my link tree for all my links for everything. I've got referrals, things like that. Thank you again. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.